tuned in. Today on the show we have Miss Berlina Baker from the Stream of Life Holistic Health and Wellness Center. Miss Baker, again, thank you for being on the show here today.
It's my pleasure.
What I want to talk about now is ask some of the questions that I'm sure a lot of people ask you guys. One of the first questions is, how long can the human body live?
The body can live forever. It was designed by a creator who made everything permanent. We should be able to live forever. We have turtles on this earth now that are living to be 175. So if a turtle can live for 175 and man takes a whole lot longer to make, we should be living a lot longer. So we say, let's stop killing ourselves and see how far we can go.
All right. That sounds good to me. Another question, are males or females expected to live longer? And how long do you expect to live and why?
Well, women live longer. And I like to say it's because a woman has a body that I think has to be a little bit stronger because it's got to produce the next generation. Plus, women in this society have a sheltered life. They tend to be more careful of their habits. They tend to go to the doctor more. They have been taught to stay home, not engage in as many bad habits. I remember the time when very few women smoked or drank. But men were out doing that, so they have shortened their life expectancy, plus men go to war. Yeah. So, and they are, somehow or other, this society encourages men to kill themselves faster. And give it to a man, he can eat anything, he's just a man, it doesn't matter. So we're saying, let's stop that. Now I say, each person should have an expectation of how long they expect to live. And when people come to our center, that's the first thing I ask them, how long do you expect to live? I tell people the higher you expect to live, the longer you will live. So many people come and say, well, I expect to live to be 80. I say, well, double it. Because I know the higher you aim, the higher you achieve. And I tell people my goal is 365. I'd like to live as long as Enoch.
Wow.
I figure, you know, if he could do it, why can't I?
All right. That sounds good to me.
How long do you expect to live?
Well, I would like to live forever.
Okay, that's the greatest answer. Yeah. That's the great, and most people who are faith will say that. A lot of people will not say it because they just don't believe it and they don't want to stretch their imagination.
Right.
Yeah, so that's great. You will be here a long time.
Well, thank you. All right, question 3 here. What is the single most important ingredient in a healthy longevity diet?
We just spoke about it. It's positive thinking. You've got to think that you're going to live. You got to think that you can do things, because if you don't feel it, it can't happen. So I tell people, plan to be alive, plan to do things, plan to change, because if you can conceive it, you can achieve it.
All right. Yeah, that sounds
It's
good.
The mind.
Yeah. They said the mind is a powerful thing,
yeah.
A terrible thing to waste.
I'm telling you, and people waste their mind power when it comes to their body and their longevity and their health, because they don't apply that positive thinking to the body.
All right. Well, I know I'm working on positive thinking.
Yeah.
Because I'm 50 plus, something now. And I've learned, man, we got to really take care of ourselves better. I've seen the diabetes in my family and high blood pressure and other illnesses, gout, arthritis, and it's just terrible. And I know a lot of that really come from the eating habits. I know how my mother, raised, which most of us a Southern way of cooking, and the pork and all that good stuff, and all that meat really is not good for you, which we've come to learn.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, I want to ask this question here. What is the proper number of meals to eat daily, and what are these meals? We
recommend 2 meals a day. The learning of this society says 3. But as a colon therapist, as a person who works on cleaning people's bowels, you can't put that much into your body that often. So 2 times a day is enough. And I think that we can take our clue from the Seventh-day Adventists, who are really the longest living group of people who are really achieving over 100. And they eat 2 meals a day. They eat an early morning meal, breakfast, and they eat a heavy, full meal in the middle of the day. And they don't eat a supper. But we find out, and from the colon therapist point of view, it takes from 8 to 14 hours for the food to go from your tongue all the way out. So when you're eating stuff back on back on back, stuff just begins to pile up. And we have now in our society what I call is the Santa Claus belly syndrome. Everybody's got these big old pouches that's everywhere, and they think that they're healthy, but that's all these old meals piled up from too much eating, too often eating, and the wrong eating.
Wow. That's a very informative thing.
2 meals a day, you can do better. To me, it's like your washing machine. If you are washing your best white clothes, you're going to put the clothes in there and let it go all the way through the 50-minute cycle until they're finished. You're not going to let them wash for 5 minutes, open the door, put some more dirty clothes in, wait another 5 minutes, put some more dirty clothes in, because at the end of it, nothing will be clean. That's what happens when we eat too often.
That makes sense, a lot of sense. Wow. So what are the things dumb animals do when they are ill?
Well, you know, I don't like to call them dumb animals. I like to call them smart animals. We think they're dumb, but they have more sense than we do. Because when an animal gets sick, the first thing it does is it stops eating its regular diet, and it will rest or fast or and eat only green things and water. It'll go to grass. If you've ever watched a dog or a cat, that's all they'll eat. So this is what we're saying, we need to follow them, because the grass is really powerful in healing, because anything green is full of chlorophyll and it makes fresh blood real quickly. The chlorophyll can be changed quickly to hemoglobin and really renew our bloodstream. And that's what animals do, so we need to follow them.
Right. I know I'm going to try to eat the raw greens. I really am. You know. Yeah, I'm going to cook them now. I'm not going to lie about it. But I'm going to eat some raw greens off the top, you know, just to feel them, just to get started with it, and see how that goes with me.
Well, that's the way you do. You start off with a little bit. And like I say to people, whenever you get ready to eat a meal, start with something raw. Start with the salad. If it's in the morning, start with fruit, some raw fruit. And then you eat the cooked stuff later. So then your body will have the enzymes and the fiber to push the rest of the food that you've eaten on through.
All right.
That's the way to do it.
All right, that sounds good. Okay. How does fasting help heal the body?
Well, when you fast, you stop eating. And as soon as you stop eating, you allow your body's internal cleansing and healing mechanism to go to work. Because as soon as you stop eating, your body says, uh-oh, let me clean this house. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. But it can't do that while you're eating. Because when you eat something, the body has to neutralize and digest and get rid of the stuff that you ate. So it's got to give first preference to what you've eaten. But when you don't eat, it starts to clean out all that backlog up there. Just the way it does at night. When you don't eat at night, you go to bed at night, your body has its task during the night to clean and repair itself. That's what it does.
Just like wake up in the morning and drink a glass of water and
boom, that's exactly the way it is.
That sounds good. Okay. What 2 hours of the night produce the most restful sleep?
That's always one that people are amazed at. It's 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock.
Wow. And
the earlier you go to bed, the earlier your body can start its cleansing and its repairing. So when we were kids, our parents told us children should go to bed early. Early to bed, Ben Franklin said, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So those early hours of sleep, getting to bed at 9 o'clock. So even though we're adults, we still need to go to bed early, because we're daytime animals, and daytime animals go to bed when the sun goes down. Now, those early hours coordinate the function of your digestive, your circulatory, and your nervous system. People who stay up a lot, late, one thing I've noticed, they start and don't go to bed early, and they start getting deep furrows across their brow. Have you seen people, when they wrinkle up their forehead, it's just deep, deep furrows? Yeah. So they get deeper and deeper. But if you go to bed early, and I tell people, start trying to do it at least 2 nights a week. Just close off and go to bed. You start to see your body begin to repair itself more quickly and more thoroughly.
All right. Okay. So what are common health destroying practices of American society?
Oh, wow. You spoke about some of them earlier. So many of them, it's unbelievable. I mean, you could probably name a whole lot of them. Sugar eating, staying up late at night, smoking, drinking, eating fried foods, all of these things cause problems. There's so many of them, it's unbelievable. Then plus the stress, working at night, because the body was meant to go to bed at night. This is pollutions in the air everywhere. It's horrible.
Yes, it is. Wow.
There's no end really almost in this country.
Yeah, you're right about
Every
that.
time you hear about something else that's destroying your health, they were recently talking about all this cell phones and how they destroy, constant having a cell phone at your ear.
That makes sense too, with that cell phone thing. 'Cause I heard something contradictory toward that, but I guess they said that just to keep you buying cell phones. But they wouldn't have put it out the first time if it wasn't true.
Well, I mean, it's something to think about because
Yes, it is.
everything has good points, and some of them also have some bad ones too. So it's just so much.
Yes, it is. And it's hard to get these kids to eat healthier because of all the McDonald's and these commercials. Because sometimes the commercials get me. But I want to go try that. But I'm glad I know better now. You know?
Well, junk
Well, I
food
do
is just
better.
everywhere. This is a generation of people now that we call it junk food and we eat it anyway.
No, yeah.
Is that really ridiculous or not?
Really, it is.
We call it garbage and we eat it
Yeah, we eat
anyway.
it anyway.
So that's another thing. And I don't know if there are very many people who haven't sampled at some time or another some junk food. I know I have plenty of it.
Yeah, me too. All right, now about water. How much water should a person drink daily? Because you know we always been told that 8 glasses of water a day or so. What do you think?
8 glasses of water is a figure that you hear tossed around. But what we teach is that the bigger you are, the more water you need. We tell people to look at their weight. Say, for example, if you weigh 200 pounds, half of your weight in ounces of water is what you'll need. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to need 100 ounces of water. 8 glasses of water, which is 64 ounces, is enough for a person who weighs like 120 pounds. If you weigh more, you got to drink more.
Gotcha.
So that really helps us to see.
That's good. All right. And okay, now we had another question here. What are water deficient foods?
That's dry stuff.
Dry stuff?
Dry stuff. You know, I like to tell people to think about the earth. God has made the earth. The earth is 75% water and 25% solid. Most fruits are like that, mostly water and a little bit of solid. But we have made ourselves love stuff like bread, dry. So I tell people water deficient foods are foods that if you squeeze them, you can't get any juice out of them. So biscuits and bread and cakes and stuff like that is water deficient. You want stuff that's more juicy, like you have a string bean or something like that, or even corn, fresh corn. Notice how much juice you get out of it? Those are the foods that help our body stay healthy.
All right. We're coming down to about a minute before we close up, and there's a few more questions here, but I want to ask one that's important to me.
Okay.
Which body organs are burdened by eating at night?
Okay. When you go at night, remember I said at night your body has the function of repairing and healing. If you're eating at night, if you're staying up at night, carousing, then your kidney and your liver are going to suffer because your kidney and your liver are major organs of detoxification and cleansing. And if you don't give them a chance to rest at night, then they won't function like they should. So those are terrible organs that get messed up. And
Well,
also
you
the
know,
nervous system.
nervous
People get very nervous and stressed. So that's really impaired by staying up late at night.
All right. Well, Miss Baker, you know, this show is coming to an end. I'm so enjoying this show. I want to keep on going and going because I'm very excited about what we're talking about. I'm sure the people at home